getting to the best part in the bag. Let's open this up and let's take a little look to see what we got today. Look at how cute. Have to get this salt water out of this dirty just to make this environment that much cleaner. Isn't that right? What's up, and as always, welcome back to another episode of A1A Adventures. Today, we are going to be focusing on this. Adding some new additions to our saltwater reef tank. But not limited to, also adding another addition to one of our other side projects of a fish tank, which would be this freshwater fish tank right here, as mentioned previously in one of our other videos, as it's been a side project dabbling with a somewhat of a planted fish tank, and we added several other fish. One of them of which is a balloon molly named Cheeto, which one of our fans recently named this little gem. Look at how cute. Always eats like a fanatic for fish food. And as some other fish we already recently had in our other fish tanks, we just kind of moved them around a bit. Isn't that right? I'll take that as a yes. So back to our beautiful saltwater nano mini reef tank. We have several additions in which have been pretty much due to add. Now, we have recently added some outstanding cleaner snails in an arsenal of 7 or 8, which we had snails previously, except they weren't necessarily cleaner snails. They did a good job, but not as good as these do. Now, I haven't had to scrub the front glass nor the side glass for 2 entire months on this reef tank. Typically, the frequency that I would have to clean this glass, and I'm not joking you, would be at least once to every 2 times a week. I'd have to do at least a light scrub, whether it's with one of the magnetic scrubbers, which we took out of this tank. I don't even have one. I just pretty much just use a sponge with somewhat of an abrasive finish to it, just to get rid of all that crusty algae that always accumulates, especially when you have good coral lights. You definitely know they do accumulate rather more than wanted. So there was a huge patch here recently, and within a day, it completely went away from adding these snails. And the size of that patch of algae growing was very much similar to here, is what's present on the sand bed, and a little bit over here in the back, behind the Kenyan tree coral back there. You could see that. And they're not too big whatsoever, except when it starts to infest the rocks and gets too close to the algae. You know, as far as some of the zoas do thrive actually a little bit better having the algae, as they have a good relationship with it, and it does protect them, and it allows them to honestly get a little bit taller and reach closer to the light, and adds provided shade if need be. But when it started to take over the rocks, I was concerned, so we went and got some snails, and that absolutely did the trick, magically. Now this mini coral reef tank has been in full effect and thriving as much as it has been for 2 years now. Now, honestly, we have learned so much as far as keeping a smaller reef tank, expanding from a very, very small nano reef tank, and honestly, in order just to be patient and allow your coral tank to balance. That can take some time. So you never want to bite off more than you can chew, or get in over your head in the amount of coral that you have, and always shop for budget corals in the beginning too, because unfortunately, not every single coral that you introduce into your nano tank is going to survive 100%, in the beginning for that matter. Over time, once it has balance and all of your proper levels and all of your coralline algae and all of everything that needs to balance sets in and the dust settles, then yes, you can add anything you please, as long as they do coexist with other species of corals. As corals are competitive for space, they can take over, and they could possibly sting each other to try to maintain that aggression reproduction of their own species of coral to take over. Enough of the boring facts. Let's open this up and let's take a little look to see what we got today from our local fish store. Let's start off with the Freshwater Aquarium edition. We got another live plant. In addition to the already live existing Amazon sword plant that is doing very well and growing very, very fast in this tank, only within 1 month of planting it into this freshwater aquarium. So Amazon sword, introducing to you the dwarf Sagittaria. So we're going to go ahead and plant this on the other side of that rock, and you will be accompanied by more live plants, in addition to all of the duckweed that is multiplying very fast on the top. But more unboxing goodies we have. So here I found a great deal, as in another video we had some, but it was very small. It actually was attached to another rock that came in as a surprise. I didn't want to get too excited about it because it was only one very small moving piece of it, and it didn't survive as much as I thought it would. However, I believe this one will, and this is Xenia coral. Now we have two pieces of Xenia that are stuck to one piece of rock that we got as initially purchased as one piece, and it even had a bonus. A Recordia mushroom on the bottom. A small little Recordia mushroom. And that Recordia mushroom right there shall blossom up to be a nice big green mushroom. We do already have a very small baby Recordia mushroom. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Right in the middle right there with those green little speckled dots on it. So you'll have another one, which I plan to put the Xenia and Recordia mushroom right within this vicinity, right in the hole right there in that rock, where I know it has a good balance of both lights that we have to offer here, so it can get the best of both worlds of the spectrum of these LED coral lights. And on the third note, my favorite, the long-awaited, Miss Sophie, what are you doing? What are you doing? You know we have a new pet? Do you know we have new animals that we are introducing here on this video? Is that why you're crazy? Is that why you're so excited? You're patient. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay, so right here, look, Sophie is she thinks it's treats. We actually did get Sophie a treat. So I know she probably smells that we were at a pet store. But we have a golden, there's a better shot of you, a baby golden coral banded shrimp to try to keep this tank in tip-top shape and keep it clean. And I believe it's going to thrive extremely well in this tank due to the fact that there are no predators in here other than to just some coral, but it is meant to thrive in coral conditions. So this is going to do really well and hopefully assist in keeping this tank spotless as it has been on the journey to become much easier to maintain with the additives and the cleanup crew that we have recently introduced, such as these snails right here on top of this rock, to keep this tank immaculate and making it much more enjoyable to come home to rather than to come home to a mess needing required maintenance on a daily basis and every other day. It has made my life so much easier. Trust me. So as always, we are acclimating. We are going to drip acclimate with this tube all the way down here and put the animals in here. This has to be the hardest part, yet the most frustrating part. Getting to the best part in the bag is removing the rubber band. Always. It's the most difficult part. That actually happened pretty easy. But let's get to acclimating the coral first. Let's move this out. Put the bag in. And pull the goods out slowly. Beautiful. Now it's time for you. Rubber band's off. Dog is impatient, thinking it's a treat. Do you want this? Because I want this in the coral tank, very much so. So let's add it in. Carefully. They will coexist together, so we are going to acclimate them together. Sometimes I don't like to do this with corals, because with corals sometimes they can, even in the process of acclimation, sting each other. But, oh, there goes the shrimp. Shrimpo to acclimation chapters you go. Aren't you happy? Aren't you happy? You're looking like a standoff right here, like you want to fight. Be peaceful, be happy. Trust me, you're in good hands. Now with another frustrating part would be to have to get this salt water out of this dirty tube to start siphoning, so. Oh, there it is. See? Drip. I do re-rinse these out with peroxide. It's very important. So if you are going to go ahead and continually do this and reuse the same tubes, air hoses over again, wash them out with peroxide. There's your tip of the day. If you find it dripping too fast, just tighten the knot. Boom. And thus slowing the drip. And two, as you do a drip acclimation, it does assist in a lot of aeration and offer good oxidation for the animals to have proper oxygen levels while they're sitting in still water. So even at a fast drip, it's still okay. It's good for the animals. Just even at a faster drip, especially at a faster drip, do not keep your eyes off your fish, as that acclimation tank or tub or whatever you're using can overflow very fast. So you do want to keep a slower drip. However, we do know that no matter what, everything in the aquarium hobby takes patience. So now we have to sit back and wait for approximately 15 to 20 minutes until this to fill up a little bit more, and these animals get acclimated with their new aquarium conditions and water parameters so they can enter the new aquarium safely and sound. So stay patient. It's only going to be about another 2 seconds for you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and sit back and wait for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we're going to add the new coral as well as the new golden baby banded shrimp to our saltwater reef tank. Ooh, they're looking happy. Are you interested too? Such a nosy doggo, but always happy, because it loves her fish too. Isn't that right? Okay, so in between takes, just to make this environment that much cleaner and easier to maintain with the start and addition by adding this new coral banded shrimp, the golden coral banded shrimp, what I did was actually cleaned up that little messy area in the back that we showed in the beginning where there was some algae in addition to the other algae area behind the Kenyan tree coral right here, and just did a quick water change. But you could see just by sucking that out really quick how much algae. This is a 5-gallon bucket. That's a lot of algae unnecessarily just built up on the bottom. So to try to find less of a dramatic area for this new crustacean to clean this coral reef tank, we just did a quick water change. I'm going to go ahead and refill this back up with a mixture of salt water and top it off with very little fresh water to maintain that 0.25 salinity that we love and these corals thrive off of. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to go ahead and add our new little additions. Just another tip, make note that when times occur like this with the low water levels, allow you to do anything you need to do, rearrange without this water level overflowing. Always make sure to wash your hands before sticking them into a saltwater aquarium, or any aquarium for that matter, because your hands are dirty. Rinse them with water really well. Don't use any harsh soaps or anything that can accumulate bad residue or chemical residue that can affect the levels of your water tank. So right now we're going to go ahead and remove the drip acclimation so that can come to a halt finally. Adding this mess to the dirty bucket. And since we already have the prime location already picked out right there for these new Xenia coral to go, we're going to go ahead and just pick them out right now. Ooh, this is so exciting. This is one of the most exciting parts of the reef hobby and saltwater aquarium hobby. You don't want to keep them out too long. But placing your new coral in their new desired spot, and to have that mushroom right in plain view as well. Oh, that is perfect. That seems like a very good spot in my opinion. And the tank is officially re-topped off. The water level is all the way to the top, which won't affect when we do add the shrimp in this tank because we'll be adding it in through a net. Now, the reason why I chose this spot, ideally for these Xenia corals, is because they are touching two different parts of the rock. Now, these are considered a pest coral, so if they do touch other parts of the rock in which you don't want them to spread to, I would highly advise for you not to keep them in close quarters of other rocks. But because they are within the vicinity of other rocks, they should spread adequately and pretty fast, as they're already opening up, and as these are really cool filter feeders because they do pulsate, and as they pulse Xenia coral, that does allow them to grasp the current and remove any other nutrients from the current in which they used to feed, such as phytoplankton, all different microbials and little different particles that you do feed from, even from minerals, adding to your coral tank. They will extract from the water with their natural pulsating movements. Look at that. How cool is that? Also, Xenia coral typically are pretty forgiving as far as conditions go. They like medium to high light, medium to high flow. So typically when you do add them into your tank, just find a good spot initially for them, which once again, in my opinion, this seemed like a perfect spot, especially because all the other disc anemones and the other mushrooms seem to be doing very well within this lighting par over here, that they should do just as well. So I'm excited to see this. So make sure as well, on that note, you are subscribed to this channel and you do have your notifications turned on so you can see the growth. If you haven't already seen all of the growth and the awesome outcome that this coral tank and all the journeys of adding every single different species of this coral into this tank has already taken place. Okay, I'm going to do this over the bucket. Do not do this at home, especially over a sink. But we are just going to time how much water we have left in here so I can literally empty this baby coral banded shrimp in one shot just by dumping it directly into the new coral tank with as minimal amount of water as possible left from the fish store. Are we there? Are we there? Can we get it almost to where it is dry? Perfect. You ready? Here we go. To your new tank, my friend. Also, if you want, comment a name for this coral banded shrimp below. This coral banded shrimp will need a name. So let's go. Adding maybe a little bit water in there to get it started. Alright. Alright, you gonna cooperate? Are you gonna cooperate? Alright, shake you around a little bit. Can we just dump you in? We'll clean up the mess later if you cooperate. Woo! Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, he's floating in the back. It is floating in the back. We are going to name you soon, and you're going to have a name. You are behind the zoas. Where are you? Where are you? Can we zoom in? Can we see you? You are hidden somewhere already. You've already been on the quest and the search to find your home. I respect that. I definitely respect that. So until the next A1A adventure, we will give you an update on this shrimp, praying that it survives, which there's no reason why it shouldn't. So we're excited to see it survive, thrive, and grow, as well as all the other coral in this tank. And remember, we added the Xenia coral today. The Xenia coral. With the Recordia mushroom that is hidden. You can see it. You can see that little green glow right in the middle there. So that'll be exciting to see thrive as well. How in the heck could I forget? How could I forget? The saltwater addiction and aquarium hobbyist distraction, the passion is real, okay? Because we forgot about our freshwater plant. So let's plant the freshwater plant we got. Here you are. Okay, so let's get this custom top off. Ooh, look at all that duckweed growing strong. Now the lighting system I have on this is just a modified fluval lighting system that I can change and basically choose different spectrums, but it's perfect and adequate for growing freshwater plants. Enough said. Let's dump this little baby. You're gonna come out. Perfect. And it's time to plant you. Once again, a nosy dog indeed. A nosy dog. Always wants to be involved with all of the fish stuff. Basically, she would drink this water. Stop it. No, don't literally drink the water, please. Please. Okay, so gonna find a nice spot. However, with duckweed, it will stick to your arm and your hands everywhere. It is very hard to maneuver without getting it to be a part of you. Trust me. Okay, so let's see how we do. There's all the duckweed, like I said. But just kind of a simple wedge under the other side of that. Hey, Cheeto. That's our balloon molly, Cheeto, checking the new plant out. But now it's going to be right next to the Amazon sword, and it's going to be nicely wedged until the roots get a nice solid traction underneath the gravel and continue to grow. And now, time to put the top back on Missy. Excuse me, excuse me. And there we have it. So we have our Amazon sword, our new plant, and everything else. Not to mention, we have shrimp. Everything is completely starting a good and happy, well-balanced ecosystem in here. So it's less for me to have to clean. Once again, a full balanced ecosystem is key. And as well as staying adventurous. So until the next one, stay adventurous. A1A Adventures. Please make sure, once again, you're subscribed to this channel and you have your notification bells turned on so you see all of the new videos and posts that we make here at A1A Adventures. Also, click on this video here, or this video here. Why? Because YouTube thinks you'll like it. See you later on to the next one. A1A Adventures.